This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show, and we're here at the 11th annual Newport Beach Film Festival for the premiere of We Were Feared, a documentary on the legendary punk rock venue, the Cuckoo's Nest. How important do you feel the Cuckoo's Nest was to give birth to the Orange County punk scene?
Well, my dad got me into punk, and now it's like everything. I go to shows all the time, and I think the Cuckoo's Nest was really cool because it got a lot of bands started that I listen to now. They're still playing, and
Can you name a couple of those bands?
DI. I see them a lot. They're really cool.
You like DI? You like Casey?
Yeah, Casey's cool.
Uh-huh.
I love Casey.
Nice. And then you?
Yeah, the same with me. My dad he grew up in it, so I grew up listening to The Clash, The Ramones, Toy Dolls, all that. So, and DI is my favorite too. We see them all the time.
Now, how did you guys learn about the Cuckoo's Nest?
I heard about it before, but I didn't really know that much about it until the whole movie came out. So.
Just grow up hearing about these shows that were so amazing, and this place was always one of them. That was the place that you wanted to go to see a show.
At the premiere for We Were Feared with the director, Jonathan Mills. Now, Jonathan, why this subject? What did you feel was important about telling this story?
This story was really about Jerry Roach and his story. I mean, this is about a guy who fought the law at the time. The law won at the time. It's a story that never got told to me in its full entirety, and it needed to be told. And we're able to put this thing together and tell that story in a way that we think is really effective.
This is Casey Royer from the band DI, originally the architect of
the adolescents
and social distortion. Casey, give us a couple of legendary stories from your time at the Cuckoo's Nest.
Cuckoo's Nest, big fight, giant fight. Cowboys and Zubies right next door against the punks, right? Okay, police, charge in a major format. Everyone went under cars and just hid under the cars. And the cops didn't arrest us.
How amazing is it for you to be here at the premiere of a movie that is documenting part of your life?
I think it's really an awesome thing. It's a depiction of what society made out of Southern Orange County.
Steve Soto, a legendary member of the Adolescents. Steve, like I asked Casey, what is it like to finally see a movie made about your history?
It's nice. It's nice to get recognized. We went through a lot of stuff, and so it's cool to get recognized for it, I guess,
Definitely, absolutely, because I had the best times of my life with Steve Soto. And when the Adolescents first started, we got approached by Lisa Fancher, remember, at the Starwood, and she asked us if we wanted to be on a record. We're all like, be on a record?
We didn't know that could happen.
We had no expectations of being anything at all because we're having fun.
And now we're on a 50-foot tall movie screen.
Exactly.
A 50-foot tall movie screen, and we're really humbled and really stoked about the way society really respected what we were talking about back in the day. Steve?
Yeah.
Because we said a lot of stuff that was really underground, but not really. It's just about the way people feel about.
What's nice, Chalmer from the Vandals, I saw something that he put, and he said disco happened back then, but you don't see kids walking around school today wearing Angel Flight pants. You know what I mean? But you see punk rock has had longevity and it's lasted.
We talked a lot of truth. We talked a lot of real bottom line truth about what was going on with our parents or cops or drugs or something that was really.
Or our parents who were cops that were on drugs.
That was Derek O'Brien, right?
Do you have a memory, Steve, that you could share with the camera?
A memory from the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah.
Or me.
Or I got a Casey memory. The first time I met Casey, you told me you were a satellite. You walked around a group of people for 10 minutes.
I did. I was a satellite. Which comes in conclusion with science and Amoeba.
An Amoeba there.
Dude,
yes,
Amoeba.
yes,
Adolescents, first record.
Amoeba. I just presented you guys an award at the Orange County Music Award.
Yes, we were on tour.
Yeah, I wish you guys were there, so I sang the song for you guys.
That's very nice.
Thanks,
Very
Eric Blair.
nice.
We want to say thanks, Eric Blair. We love you, dude. You're awesome.
And I'm here with the producer, Ivan Correa. Ivan, what was it about this concept that made you want to get involved?
Well, I think we were really driven to this particular story when we met Jerry Roach, and we saw that this franchisement of these kids in Orange County and the divergence of kind of the bedroom community that Orange County was back in the day, and the latchkey kids, and how they needed an outlet to have a place to kind of exercise their angst, and they gave them, Jerry Roach provided that venue, and the kind of the rise and the fall and the social stigmatism of punk rock at the time, and eventually what that led to, the Green Days and the Blink-182s and Offspring and all those type of bands and the Warped Tour and all that kind of came out of this scene. So I thought it had some social relevance.
Now, a lot of people may not know, but this is kind of a precursor to actually what may become a major motion picture.
That's right. Yeah, our company Endurance Pictures with my partner York Shackleton, we have written a script based on this story, and we're in development now for that.
There's rumors that Johnny Depp might be pegged to be Jerry Roach.
We'd like to have Johnny Depp, of course, and that's something that we'll go after. We're in development, and we'll explore every avenue. We want it to be a major motion picture, so we're going to go out and look, out in that fashion.
We're here with Andrew Simonson, and he actually attended the Cuckoo's Nest back in the day. And Andrew, you have a great story about the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh yeah, I was there for all the highlights, but I remember one time the city council was trying to put a ban on the club, and I went up there in front of the city council in Costa Mesa, and I talked to the whole councilor in the audience, and I said, you really should keep this place open, because if you don't let the punkers hang out there, they're going to up your neighborhoods, and you want to keep an eye on them and keep them where you can keep an eye on them instead of letting them go amok in the streets.
Yeah.
So I don't know that went over too well with them, but it made sense to me.
And what were some memorable shows that you attended back then?
Oh my God! Oh, so many of my. I just remember 45 Grave played, and Paul Cutler was just shredding the guitar. He's using anything he could find to pick up and play the guitar with it. I remember slam dancing to the Subhumans when they played I'm Just a Slave to My. Perfect song for the occasion. I went to Troy High School and graduated with the same where Casey Royer went, and in '81. So most of my classmates were in bands that played, and we were there like once a week.
What do you think the importance of We Were Feared, a documentary about the Cuckoo's Nest, is?
The importance is that it just shows what was really going on to the people now who go buy their Doc Martens at the mall. Back then, we couldn't get that kind of clothes. We had to make our own clothes and make whatever it was of it. And now it's accessible, but they don't know where it came from. And you got to be able to see where your current fashion, where it originated here in Orange County.
At the premiere of We Were Feared, a story about this man, Jerry Roach, and the beginning of the Cuckoo's Nest, which you created.
The title wasn't mine, but I think it's really apropos, because I was telling a story the other day. Remember, you were there, and I was going, they were feared, actually. Not so much that I was part of that, but they were feared.
Jerry, when you first opened the Cuckoo's Nest, I'm sure you had no idea that it would become a subject of legend in the punk rock community.
No, it was just an opportunity to have a job and, have a business, and it's something that I loved, music, and so I did build it to be a very successful nightclub, and then things change, bands break up, and people get tired, so you have to adjust, do things, so I wasn't afraid to try it, and there was an audience there.
Couple of memories that stand out to you from your time at the Cuckoo's Nest.
Obviously, the Ramones was a big night. David Johansen, he did like 8 or 9 encores one night. It was very an interesting vibe where the audience would not let him stop. Oh, gee, there's so many. I don't know where. I'm trying to think of the famous ones that people have heard of, but there were a lot of moments. Like I had X and the Go-Go's on the same show. They were headlining in LA, and they played together in Orange County. We had about 50 people.
One of my favorite stories that you've told is the camaraderie between the Adolescents and Social Distortion, and how that played out in your life.
Well, the Adolescents were playing one night, and they decided to let the Social Distortion come up and use their instruments, and they got up and played one song, Louie Louie, and they barely got through it. But I know it was the first gig they ever played, or the first song they ever played in public. But I remember thinking, hey, I booked the bands here. Oh, Tony decided to have his friends come up and do a set. That's part of the fun of the Cuckoo's Nest. You never knew what was going to happen, which added to the fear, because of the unknown. There's always a fear factor.
And at one point, the Adolescents were banned.
Oh, they demanded that I let Social Distortion open, which they were banned for life too. So I had to back down, and because I wanted to get the show. So anyway, he said I had to book Social Distortion. So I called him up, Mike Ness, and I said, okay, you can play. Oh, thanks. He goes, yeah, $25. I go, okay, thanks, Jer. And then all of a sudden, Tony calls me back and says, you got to give him at least $100. I go, oh, Tony, come on. So I had to give him $100.
What do you think is the most important thing about We Were Feared, the story of the Cuckoo's Nest?
It just kind of sets a lot of things straight, and it's interesting to talk to kids that were there and then get their take 30 years later. 'Cause it's a long time. I'm surprised people even remember it. I mean, 30. What do you remember from 30 years ago? It's like, it really blows my mind that it's even that anybody cares or that anybody's interested. But I thought punk rock would roll over and go away when I left.